Hello and welcome to this very special Dino Talk on one of my favorite lands of all time. If you're looking to use some lands in your dinosaur deck, or maybe whatever deck, looking for some utility stuff, maybe you have not heard of or seen or forgotten potentially about the amazing Blast Zone. This definitely has given my dinos an edge. And commune with dinosaurs, 1 green, look at the top 5 cards of our library. We can grab a dinosaur or a land. The fantastic point that we can grab this thing. It certainly is a blast. This will focus on the Explorer format, but you can get the idea of whatever format you're in. It might buy you enough time taking out key things, no matter how big they are. Of course, we'll start off with mono blue spirits, a very painful list for us. We do have shifting ceratops that has protection from blue, but a lot of spirits, some of their enchantments cost 1. Blast Zone enters with a charge counter on it, so we can pop it right away. Pay 3, sacrifice it, destroy each non-land permanent, not just creatures, enchantments as well, artifacts potentially. Rakdos sacrifice. You can take out all those witches' ovens. Hopefully they have warranty on that stuff. Man. But just popping it the turn it drops, because it's a land, you don't have to worry about it being countered, anything like that. And the worst case scenario, Blast Zone does still ramp and get you further ahead, especially with dinos, at least the way I like to play them. They're pretty expensive. Whew. Alright, take a peek. Ascendant Spirit. Doesn't matter how much snow they've sunk into it, it still has a mana value of 1. Boom. Takes it out. Curious Obsession. Potentially, well, they probably slap Curious Obsession on some spirit that is 1. So naturally, if it dies, Curious Obsession would fall off, go to the graveyard as well. But they could put it on something that is 2. Rattle Chains, potentially. Supreme Phantom. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be nice taking that out. Stopping mono blue spirits from getting card draw. That is really what helps them pull ahead. Get those counter spells. Mausoleum Wanderer, maybe we have a sweeper, or you have a sweeper, or some nice interaction that would get countered by this very fantastic option for them. Pretty much, it's in every list. Again, they can sacrifice it, counter an instant or sorcery. Oh no. Blast Zone, boom, take it out. Slip out the back. You got to keep an eye on that. Potentially, maybe you can draw out, slip out, and then respawn with the Blast Zone, because you can activate its ability at any time. Doesn't matter. Of course, they'll know that fact. They may wait, but if you can force them to use it, and then we do this, take some good stuff out. Spectral Sailor does have flash. Very common to see that turn 1. Maybe turn 2 they slap Curious Obsession on the Spectral Sailor. I see that quite a bit. But still, lots of spirits are 1 and 2, especially the Rattle Chains with that hexproof. Very nasty stuff, and the ability of them playing their spirits as if they had flash. Scary. Not really much is, or anything is above 3, I would say. It's pretty much 2 and less. Of course, it's not too bad getting that second charge counter on if you need it, but you can see how much in mono blue spirits Blast Zone would take out, and they can't do anything to it. That's good. Moving on to mono red. Very fantastic, common. Faced it a couple times today, actually, but Kumano, oh, that's good. Even when it's flipped to Etching of Kumano, it still has the same converted mana value of 1. You might think it has 0. Sometimes if there is permanents, tokens usually, they have a mana value of 0. Blast Zone is never going to be able to take those things out, unfortunately, but Kumano still retains its mana value of 1 there, even after it's flipped. Of course, Phoenix Chick, lovely stuff, painful stuff. Soulscar Mage, very nasty for dinos, changing their damage-based, whatever it is, skewer the critics, play with fire, stomp from Bone Crusher Giant potentially. Making it into 1/1 counters is just an absolutely devastating and painful thing, and I always love taking out Soulscar Mage ASAP. Of course, Anger of the Gods, a sweeper, dealing 3 damage would do the trick, but Blast Zone against this, that has done the trick. Moving on to stuff for 2. You saw the Spirits, the Rattle Chains, Supreme Phantom, but is it spells? Is it good to bring in Blast Zone against is it spells? Yes, I would say so. Ledger Shredder, crazy, painful, big. Doesn't matter how big it is. It's still 2. Young Pyromancer, boom. You really want to take that thing out before they get even a second copy. Even just 1 is very painful. But if they get that, oh man, they'll run away with things. Of course, likely we'll have some sort of sweeper to take out the little elemental tokens. Rampaging Ferocidon as well. That would do the trick, probably, chipping away at things. But definitely the Ledger Shredder is a big headache. If they get a couple and they get too big, sometimes dinos can have a hard time with flyers. We do have Shifting Ceratops, protection from blue, potential to have reach, and maybe sneaky reach if the opponent is unaware or they forget about the potential of that. I did actually just take out a Ledger Shredder in Is It Spells matchup just tonight, probably an hour ago. But if we don't get shifting, we want something to slow them down a little bit, and Blast Zone would do it. A lot of stuff is 2, some stuff at 1, but moving on to elves. Oh, I faced a couple elves today, but pretty much all the elves are 2. A couple are at 3, but for the most part, it's 1 and 2. And the Lords, Elvish Clan Caller, Leaf Crown Visionary, if they get a good mix of that, it may already be lights out. But if you have 3 up, oh, and you got that 2 charge counters on, maybe you were preparing ahead of time, boom, doesn't matter how big they are. Take it out, take it out, take it out. Especially this Elvish War Master, the potential of them giving elves they control +2/+2 in Death Touch. There's lots of ramping with mono green elves. And Elvish War Master's ability just to make them all bigger probably is going to lead to lethal. Maybe you can wait until they activate this ability. Boom. Blast Zone. Pop things. Destroy it. Although you wouldn't want to really do that. The stuff that's left over, the tokens and the things at 1, that wouldn't be so good. So yeah, definitely take out Elvish War Master, but if they get a bunch of Lords, it may not all be over because of Blast Zone. Not too much stuff at 3. Usually I don't like to go above 2 charge counters. It really gets pretty tough adding those extra ones on. But if it's late game, you're looking for a way out, maybe you have a bunch of lands. Thunderherd Migration, Topiary Stomper, Wayward Swordtooth, getting a lot of those basic lands or whatever it is. You may be able to sink quite a bit into Blast Zone, potentially sink 6 in total, get it to 4 charge counters, but definitely being able to pop it the turn you drop it for mono blue, mono red, is good. And then 2, not so backbreaking, not too backbreaking, but if you do got to get rid of stuff at 3, well, Geistlight Snare, that was just there because it is a counter spell, and again, you can't counter a land. Beautiful. But mono green ramp, mid-range, aggro, whatever you want to call it. Look at all the stuff that is at 3. Lovestruck Beast, Steel Leaf Champion, Yorvo. Some stuff at 2, but often enough, they have a pretty painful mix of this stuff. Doesn't matter how big, boom. Blast Zone does the trick. There is a lot of stuff at 2, a lot of stuff at 3, at least the way I like to play dinos, but they do have a nice healthy mix of a wide range of mana values. So it's not going to be one-sided. Of course, there's some dinos at 1, none that I use regularly. So 1 really is the sweet spot. But you should be left with something if you got to pop it for 3 or 2. You have some good things. Hopefully you've ramped before then. All right. I think that does it for this Dino Talk for Blast Zone. If you want to see something else against a fantastic meta deck, Greasefang, anything graveyard related, Scavenger Grounds, find the link popping up right there. See you guys next time. Peace. Remember, there's always room for improvement.